Welcome. Haven't posted in a while. Russ Trades here. Changing the whole dynamic of how I'm going to approach this going forward. Gonna have to use my phone for videos. Just uploaded Spotify podcast. But today I want to talk about how I lost $4,000 today, ish. But this money I made before. But so it's not like the end of the world ish kind of thing. But um, I'm gonna post more on this channel about this stuff. I think it's important because I keep seeing like people rise up from nothing and then they're gone. Happened to this guy Jloc. He just can't seem to get ahead, and he went from like $300 to like 250K, which is insane, right? To do on just spy options, right? And I'm gonna approach things now from like a way of risk management being like a pillar, but we're all human. It gets away from us, right? But I think with the fact that pattern day trade rule is gone, and how hard things can run and how also violently they can go against you, there's like two things I'm really working on here, which is imagination of where the trade can go, which involves like a ton of time watching, right? Like I have some charts and stuff that I've been kind of neglecting, and because what can happen too, again, with a lot of these different trades is like someone has like 20,000, like JLoc did, and they'll get directionality right a few times. But all it takes is one wrong directionality move, and like those things evaporate. So, like, do people have enough stamina to like do that and then walk away, or was this just a lesson, or was that just a god tier run that can't be recreated? I'm kind of thinking about things in like a very different light here, as in, if you're coming into this in 2026, you really should prioritize risk and couple that with no rush to enter. Because the no rush to enter is usually separate from the risk management, right? Like, because people think that because they, um, because they are waiting enough, and they're getting good at the patienceness of entering positions, right? But they're not risk managing enough. It's like what you really want to do is be in this game for a long time. You know, it's one of the better paying ways to make um, things happen for yourself and in your real life. Because like realistically, if you patient enough with entries, you can make a good $500 to $2,000 off like one contract at a time, and to stick it out through. Because at least for myself, I found that there's not a lot. Like I've made money and then lost it, right? It's not like I just lost or something. It's not exactly my story, which I can get into at some other point, that I think is important. You know what I mean? But I think for myself right now, I'm kind of like relearning trading, I guess you could say. Like relearning my approach. Because I say you have, a few grand you saved, or you just double your account. You went from 4K to 8K. Like, wow, I'm so good at this. And truth is that 4K in risk management, to be like, what, two contracts max at a time? That will get to 8K very quickly if you develop a process. Whereas opposed to like, yeah, the 4K can go to 8K to 12K then you're back at 3K. And you haven't developed like an internal relationship with how you view these things. And that's what I think is the tough thing, because we want things now. You know, I was another thing too, because trading is so like very stimulating too. Another big reason why I'm big on like recording things. Like I just recorded a podcast, and I'm gonna keep doing these things because they're like process oriented things, not gratification oriented things, right? Because even after today's loss, right, it's like crush the idea that you have to make things back. Like every day is a gift, you know. You just gotta try a little bit. And it's like if I'm doing anything next week, early in next week, is like trying to I got some ideas. I'll do one contract if it really suits me on how I view the charts and like kind of the structure. And if I can get like just a little bit next week, that's cool. But if I'm right and it goes green, you hold it. That's the hard part. You hold it. You know, because having large amounts and just shooting for 100% is like I can't even express how bad of an idea it is. And you have a lot of people too post online with like just these convictions and things like that. I just don't think that the conditionality of like where money is and how money works these days is really set up for people to last long in that. Because like, you know, you gotta think about it, like these market makers have to pay for like their kids school and their like son going to rehab and like all these things, right? And like they kind of have like a little bit of the control of the entropy. But what we're doing in being like risk having fun, but like having some fucking risk tolerance, man, is like the money comes to us the most when the money gets away from them, because they're human too, you know. But they're always on the game, so something will slip. They'll have to buy back SPX. It will squeeze up, you know. But by the time it squeezes it up, we got one contract. So if it goes from $70 to, you know, to $1,500, you know, we just made like 15x. Yeah, sure. A lot of people have the idea that, wow, I could just do that all the time, but then you're not following the story. You know, what is the story that's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, so that's for us to figure out, and it's supposed to be like a pretty calm and collective thing. So I don't know. I know we also get a lot of ideas too about like where we're gonna do with all this money. I know that JLoc guy was like buying his mom necklaces. You mean a new life, man. I don't think, like, for me, it's not really the thing. My thing is like finding a life. And finding a life in this stuff and making it work. You know, and like it's like my hobby. It's like my life, you know what I mean? Like it's a big part of my life and like where I want it to go. It's just important to me. It's like a thing that I like to resolve, and life points us in different directions of like where we need to resolve things. And this is not for everyone. I hope this resonates with people, but it's not for everyone, right? Like honestly, when I recently moved, and I was really big on like all this art and paintings, and or working at a tattoo shop or some shit like that, right? And I don't know, life came back, and this kind of whispered to me, and I forgot about how much of an art this stuff is, and how much it has to be like integrated into the lifestyle, you know. I thought I would see more podcasts and things like that involving this stuff, because like I've been to a lot of like Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and stuff, and things like that. And like, you know what's interesting? People talking about it to figure things out. I think there's a connection here. This trading is very, very secretive in a lot of ways, right? We are even afraid to like admit it or whatever. But it's like, I think like talking about it and taking, so we can like listen about it and taking healthy steps to risk manage. You know, I think that can be very a prosperous thing. You know, because like at the end of the day, man, it's like we're trying to, like, people are like, you know, we're trying to find lifestyle, man. Like, you're not trying to find like, yeah, fucking guess fucking get a new car. That stuff's neither here or there though. I just don't think that, because hey, think about it. Like, all these people living at home, you know, um, all of not just these people living at home, the cost of living that's like trickling down to everybody. It's like, I think people also have to understand too is the market doesn't pay obvious moonshots. It pays big time, but it's not fucking obvious, and it's not easy to manage either. There's like two big things right there. It's not it's not an obvious trade, where I think there was a time it was a little bit more obvious. And then secondly though too, is it's gonna be a hard thing to manage. Like, what, as we figure out those things, we'll do better. We'll adapt. We'll have a broader like idea. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I hope JLoc gets his money back. Um, the hardest thing too about coming down from flying so high is having the patience to like about the directionality and stuff like that. So going to hop off here. I just did a Spotify thing and I did this, and I'm gonna be posting a lot. So fucking good luck out there, boys.